I was deep in it, gaming on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. Unfolding the screen made it twice as big and so immersive, I kinda lost myself. Might have trolled a little too close to the sun. Someone in the chat told me to touch grass, so I took my Z Fold 7 outside and kept playing. Still won, got a tan, and a nice little reset. Powerful processor, realistic graphics, you stay locked in, streak stays alive. Can your phone do that?
The new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Get yours at Samsung.com.
Welcome to Only Murders in the Building,
the official podcast.
Join me, Michael Cyril Creighton, as we go behind the scenes with some of the amazing actors, writers, and crew from Season 5.
The audience should never stop suspecting anything.
How can you not be funny crawling around on a coffin? No, that's true.
Catch Only Murders in the Building official podcast, now streaming wherever you get your podcasts. And watch Only Murders in the Building, streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
We're saying honey don't to the man in my basement, and we're getting borderline on the long walk. I'm Van Connor.
And I'm Adam Ball, and this is Off Screen, your 7-day guide to everything movies.
Boom.
Hello, and welcome back to another week of Off Screen. We have got some movies to talk about today. We're going to look at Borderline. Well, I'm hoping so. Obviously, I don't know what Van is about to say about any of these movies, so it could be.
Oh, we've got some doozies to talk about. We've got some absolute bangers this week, and we've got some absolute turkeys, and we've got like one that I watched accidentally for this week, but is actually next week, which is weirdly awesome. And of course, everything in between. So yeah. Oh, by the way, before we start with the box office top 10, I have a question to ask you. Are you watching Alien Earth?
No.
You've got to watch this. This is the prequel show on Disney Plus to the Alien movies, and it's so good. It's from the guy that made Fargo. I will say no more, but honestly, if you've ever enjoyed an Alien movie, just watch Alien Earth on Disney Plus. We've just had episode 6 this week of 8. So if you start watching now, you'll sort of be in it for the finale, and honestly, it's really good.
Big fan of Alien, so why wouldn't I like it then? All right, so we are going to dive straight in as we always do with the UK top 10. So box office, how much are the movies making, and how long have they been out for? So at number 10, Honey Don't. We've reviewed this already. It's only been out.
No, we're going to review this in 2 minutes because this was last week when we were off.
Oh,
so we'll save reviewing that for two or 3 minutes from now. Shall we? We'll do a proper review in a few minutes of that one, of Honey Don't, which is, of course, the new movie from, I think it's Ethan Coen, one half of the Coen brothers. So we will discuss that momentarily.
See, I knew I'd seen it written down, and that's why I made the assumption that we had already reviewed it, but we haven't.
I saw it written down literally under box office top 10 on the running order. Number 9, I think we can skip. I think number 9 is Opera, which is Inter Alia, National Theatre Live 2025, which made a decent amount of money, made just under £1 million. So, which for a live theatre event, that's really something. I mean, I don't think I've seen a really successful one of those since the Danny Boyle Frankenstein with Benedict Cumberbatch and Johnny Lee Miller. That would have been about 10 or 12 years ago. That was, even I went and saw that. Like, that was phenomenal. Like, Danny Boyle's stage production of Frankenstein brought to the screen. It was one of the best versions I've ever seen of that story, although this is a thing. I have friends who've just come from, is it Venice or Rome? I forget which film festival, at which they got to watch Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, that's coming out next month for Christmas. Kind of thing. And this is one with Oscar Isaac. This is going to be like this is the goth fantasy is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. So we're going to see, I hear very good things that make me very encouraged in my already exuberant enthusiasm, we shall say. What have we got? Number 8, Fantastic Four, hanging in there. 7 weeks. It's 7 weeks since I turned 42. Well, this week because my birthday was around the time of the movie, so I kind of
it's not made it much though, has it?
I mean, to be honest though, the Marvel movies, we are not living in $1 billion climate anymore. We're not.
No.
Like, that's the reality. Post-COVID, we do not live in $1 billion blockbuster economy anymore. There's been one movie this year that's made more than $1 billion, and that was Lilo and Stitch. You know, and that's a movie that also kind of proves that the Chinese box office is not bringing in what it used to for these movies. Although it is worth noting that conversely, in Asia, Lilo and Stitch is kind of like, you know, Stitch is bigger than Mickey Mouse. I am reliably told that he's used in place of Mickey Mouse as the Disney mascot. To make sense of it, that would be Fantastic Four. I think is a very good film, but I think at this stage, anyone who's not seen it is not going to the cinema. Anyone at this stage, 7 weeks in, is thinking to themselves, I'll wait like a fortnight to be on Disney Plus. Why am I bothering? And I completely understand that, and that is a problem of the studio's own making. Let's be honest. Very good movie, but Disney made that. Disney and Marvel made that problem for themselves.
At number 7, Loka Chapter 1, Chandra. I know nothing about this.
No, did not see this. I'm going to assume from the title, just assuming that that's a Bollywood or Asian film that just wasn't press shown, because these things generally aren't. But as we've said before, do make significant money. So please, will you show us, honestly, publicists, show us this stuff. On the rare occasion that I have been press shown Bollywood films, some of them have been absolute bangers. I mean, okay, 1 or 2 of them have been turkeys, sure, but honestly, the majority of them are actually above the standard of, you know, Western culture, English language films. Like, some of them have been, we saw one called Selfie a couple of years ago that really should have been a crossover, like, international hit. Wasn't. Honestly, publicists for these movies, please pitch them wider. Email us. My email address is not hard to find. Just please come at me. I will happily watch these.
Well, that's been out 2 weeks and it's made 822,000, just in case you're interested. Number 6, Caught Stealing. That's a Sony. 2 weeks it's been out. That's done all right. I mean, over 1.2 million.
But it's not a biggie, is it? I mean, it's Darren Aronofsky, who's a big director, you know, who's a big auteur director. You know, you think about Requiem for a Dream, The Fountain, Black Swan. Like, these are not insignificant films. Like, people love these films, and they're quite critically loved. But he's not a box office, like, you know, barnstormer, Darren Aronofsky. Never will be, to be really. The closest he ever came to that was the 5 minutes he was working on Batman before Christopher Nolan. But it's just never happened for him. He's never been that guy. And I think I can understand why Austin Butler would star in this film, because it's a chance to work with Darren Aronofsky. Every young actor wants to do that. But this was never going to be, a box office blaze. It is very suitably, I think, positioned box office-wise for what it is, which is, this feels like Darren Aronofsky's watching Uncut Gems and saying, hey, me too. And it never gets beyond that. Although Matt Smith does steal the whole show. And I know I'm biased because he's my favourite Doctor, but he owns this.
At number 5 this week, making nearly 13 million, is The Bad Guys 2. And it has been out 7 weeks, but that's doing pretty well.
Very good for an end of summer release. Obviously, this came out sort of end of July, beginning of August, for a tail end of summer release. Obviously, this got the licks in before the school holiday ended. This like got bums on seats. This got the kids to badger their parents into seeing it nicely enough before like term time kicked in. Term 1 kicked in for 2025. Good movie. I say I prefer this to Despicable Me 2, and there's a direct comparison to be made like tonally and subject wise between the two. Ditto actually for Freakier Friday, which is now, this is at number 4, been out 5 weeks, made just over 8 million quid. This is very much a sort of old school throwback. Remember when we used to make like PG movies and like, you know, you could like show them to the kids, they were sort of aimed at adults, but they were sort of all round acceptable enough that it would. This is very much that. Yeah, and Jamie Lee Curtis owns it, and I kind of really love Chad Michael Murray in it, which is a thing I never thought I'd feel. But number 3, this is, I know we're pushed for time. I'm going to give you a minute. Right, number 3, because you've seen this now. Okay, number 3, it's been on release for 5 weeks. It's made 11.25 million quid. Warner Brothers are the most successful studio of the year, in part because of this. This is part of a chain of hits that they've had. Weapons. What did you think, Mr. Ball?
Oh, absolutely brilliant. I've made a few notes which I'll read out.
By all means, go.
Very graphic, which I love, of course.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'd say it's probably one of the most graphic movies I've seen in a long while, with detail and stuff. I mean, it's brilliant. And the vegetable peeler on the face.
Yes. The vegetable peeler is the thing. Yeah.
But from the minute I started it, it had pace. I was literally gripped. I didn't look at my phone once, which says a lot for me when I'm watching a movie. And I will end by saying the end sequence I thought was epic.
Yeah. I want to stress, by the way, he was watching this at home. This wasn't like an achievement that he wasn't checking his phone in the cinema, because otherwise I would have killed him. But no, weapons I think really
phones
good.
Stay in the pocket in the cinema.
Yeah. But there is a bluntness to the violence and the horror in Weapons, I think, and I think that's what really makes it. Whether you like the film or not, I think its execution is really fun. And I think the way it delivers that. And did you see what I meant about the Stephen King-like kind of small-town mystery around?
Oh, 100%.
Like, it feels very Stephen King. We will be talking about Stephen King a lot later in this show because we have an actual Stephen King adaptation this week. Number 2, another adaptation, The Roses, adapted from The War of the Roses. Obviously was the Dan DeVito movie before. I love the DeVito movie. I have a friend of mine, Matt Turner, had been away covering film festivals whilst this was out, came back, saw it, loved it a lot more than I did. I can understand, though, I think he was soft because he wasn't as attached to that previous version. And I think your mileage may vary on that. I feel that this is a weaker movie that leans too much on the marital domesticity side of this story. I personally prefer the wacky, anarchic, Tim Burton-esque divorce stuff that Danny DeVito does. But I can't fault the performances. I think the performances are very good. I think the script has some amazing barbs in it, some great gags. And I am a fan. I just don't think this doesn't share the bathwater of Danny DeVito's version.
And at number 1 this week, The Conjuring Last Rites. It's been out for 1 week and it's already nearly 7 million.
Nearly 7 million. I'm not shocked. I'm not at all. I got asked by a friend of mine who was a Conjuring fan, is it worth me seeing? I went, well, yeah, but you're a fan. So it is worth you seeing because you're a fan. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of the first 2. So obviously I was going to see this. The last one was kind of weak, sure. But I was going to see this because I like, those actors in those roles, even though it doesn't bear any resemblance to reality, etc. And anyone who's ever been an X-Files fan and done the whole real paranormal thing knows you don't pay that much attention to the Warrens. You really don't. The whole true story aspect of this is, let's just say, questionable at best. Let's just charitably say that. And were they not played by actors as good as these, you would honestly see right through it. But I don't think this is even as effectively made. This feels very direct to DVD, very slapdash, very by the numbers versus a franchise that started really strong. The weird thing is, the mainline Conjuring series gets worse as it goes on. The spin-off series, like the Annabelles, the Nuns, things like that, they get better as they go on. That's the weird thing. Anyway, here endeth the top 10. There you go.
That's this week's top 10. All right, well, let's dive straight into our first new movie, although it was already out last week, but obviously we didn't have an off-screen then, did we? So it's in cinemas already. It's called Honey, Don't. All I know about this is it's a dark comedy.
Right, second part of the self-proclaimed lesbian noir crime trilogy, or thematic lesbian noir crime trilogy, by Ethan Coen and his partner Trisha Cook. Now, I believe, I've not verified this, I think I read that Trisha Cook was a trans woman. And I think that might be one of the I bring that up because I think that's one of the motivations behind making the trilogy. Second one in a row as well to star Margaret Qualley, obviously now more known for The Substance. She is Honey O'Donoghue, a contemporary, present-day private eye who gets sucked into a case involving a woman found in a crashed car over a ravine and a number of other deaths that seem to trace back to a sort of Christian evangelist church led by a corrupt reverend, played by a just unflinchingly handsome and annoyingly handsome Captain America, Chris Evans. Have a listen. This is Honey talking to the local sheriff, played by Charlie Day from Always Sunny, trying to get some info and an update on the case.
You haven't described any suspicious activity.
The gunshot.
Well, that's a noise. And a noise is not an activity.
Someone firing the gun would be an activity.
If someone fired a gun and it wasn't a car backfiring.
A car backfiring?
That is right.
When's the last time you heard a car backfiring?
What does that have to do with anything?
A car backfiring isn't a real thing anymore. I didn't realize it was a thing people still said until you said it.
Well, all right, well, I'm old school.
Maybe you should acknowledge what century it is.
This from someone who uses payphones.
I don't use payphones.
Oh, really? Okay.
Marty, okay, I'm trying to scratch your back here. Remember how I'm supposed to scratch your back?
Oh, I remember.
You find out what kind of hanky-panky is going on in this place, it's a feather in your cap.
See, watching a bit of the trailer of this, I did get the kind of feeling that there's quite a few belly laughs in this one.
No.
Oh.
I mean,
There's meant to be.
There's an attempt at them. I mean, I didn't laugh once. I mean, to be fair, I wasn't actually interested once. Right, so this is obviously the second part of this trilogy. The first one was Drive-Away Dolls last year, which I think if you think back, or anyone wants to check back, you'll remember I think I called the most insufferable film I'd seen that year to that point.
Yes.
And I stand by it. I was warned, actually, by none other than the good doctor himself, Mark Kermode, on Monday morning. We were waiting to watch The Man in My Basement. We were talking about this. Neither Matt Turner nor myself had seen it. He was the only one who had. He said, do you know what? I hated it. I just really hated it. I hated Drive-Away Dolls too. I think this is exactly as bad. No, actually, I don't think this is as bad as Drive-Away Dolls, now having seen it. I insisted we review it because I'm a completist. And obviously we're going to have to review the third one next year anyway, so let's make sure we're keeping up. This is worse than Drive-Away. This is not as bad as Drive-Away Dolls. Sorry, Drive-Away Dolls was worse. This at least has something slightly more resembling a plot, and at least the charm of Chris Evans to kind of carry it. It is, however, a thematically muddled, tonally ajar, absolute balderdash of a film that I cannot quite understand. I mean, I can on the logistical level. I can't understand how anyone greenlit. I can because it's Ethan Coen, and this really feels like, hey, you're one of them Coen brothers. Have some money and make a movie. And they don't count the fact that actually they got the bad one of the two. I said this last time when we reviewed Drive-Away Dolls, that it just became abundantly clear to the world, cold light of day, which one of the Coen brothers was the talented one. And you know what? A year later, boom, we're right back here. I stand by my word. He's done it again. So, no, I wouldn't see this piece of crap to save my life. And I say that about a movie that features Aubrey Plaza, a woman I love deeply, performing truly gratuitous acts of sexual congress upon Margaret Qualley. And I'm still going to tell you that I hated this movie. Despite that, I'm still going to tell you that I hated the hell out of this movie. That I was so glad it was as mercifully short as it was. So, no, don't see it. Honey, don't? No. Do you know what? That's what you should say to anyone. If you're working in a cinema box office, someone comes along and says, can I have a ticket to Honey, don't? Your response should be, oh, honey, don't. There you go.
Well, if you do want to, it's out in cinemas already, so you can fill your boots.
No, honey, don't.
Right, we're going to look at The Man in My Basement. Not literally. We'll see what Van thought of it next. Stay there.
Vitamin Water Zero Sugar has great taste, zero BS, and obviously zero sugar. For those with zero room in their calendar. Zero patience for slow walkers. Those who get 0 hours of sleep on a Saturday night. Have zero filter, zero given, and zero interest in grabbing a plain, boring water. Grab a delicious Vitamin Water Zero Sugar today.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an Enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello and welcome back to Off Screen then. This week we've still got Borderline and The Long Walk to look at, and we're going to look at movies on Freeview this week that you can watch from the comfort of your own sofa as well. But right now, let's dive in to a nice mystery thriller, and it's titled The Man in My Basement. I mean, you can probably gather it's a mystery thriller from the title, really, to be honest.
I mean, I love the sort of lilted, very charming way that you sort of described that, to be honest, because when I start telling you the concept, you're like, oh God, what have I done? Okay, so
it's not a porno, is it?
No, right. So The Man in My Basement, right? This is an adaptation of the Walter Mosley novel, the same name. It stars what's his name? Corey Hawkins. Who do you remember the Straight Outta Compton movie?
Yeah.
The NWA movie. He was the one who played Dre. He was the guy who played Dr. Dre in that. He also starred in the short-lived 24 sequel series, 24 Legacy, which just never stood a chance because it didn't have Kiefer Sutherland. Just putting that out there. Right, I'm a big fan of the guy, though, and he always delivers a good performance. He has filled in here for Jonathan Majors, who was supposed to star, prior to, well, as you can imagine, a very specific set of events in Jonathan Majors' life. You know, the same stuff that saw him hastily written out of the Marvel Universe, despite being the new Thanos. You know, all that stuff. So Corey Hawkins, I think I was about to say. Corey Hawkins, you know, the guy who was in Kong Skull Island, steps in. And he is Mr. Blakely. He is a young man who, I say, is about 30-ish, has never really done anything with his life, lived with his mum in, you know, the long-time family home in a small American town that is also a historical African-American town. It's called Sag Harbor, and it has lineage going back to, this was formed as an African-American community, you know, several hundred years ago when that wasn't a thing. So it has a certain root into black ancestry and black culture. His mum has passed away some years previous and, you know, left in the house. His uncle, his mum's brother, has also been sickly in the house and was a sort of childhood era abuser who he's had to look after. Said uncle has now passed on and the house is now his, and he's having trouble keeping up with just even the basic mortgage payments. He's also been made unemployed after being accused of, either rightfully or wrongly, is left for some interpretation, petty embezzlement from his job at a bank. And as he's facing losing this home, he is given a knock on his front door one day by a certain Mr. Willem Dafoe. A certain Willem Dafoe who's playing Mr. Aniston Bennett. And Aniston Bennett offers him a proposition. I would like to rent your basement for 65 days for $1,000 a day. However, I have terms and conditions. You must answer to this, and he answers these relatively simple terms and conditions, rents him the basement out of desperation, is given the simple request of, hey, would you mind waking me up in the morning with a cup of coffee? Which, you know, not that big an ask, naturally goes down there like 8 o'clock with a cup of coffee, only to find that there is a full-size jail cell erected in this cellar, in which Willem Dafoe has locked himself up. Why is he there? Why does he want to be there? Who cares? Dollar bill, yo. Have a listen to this trailer sizzle.
Why'd you choose my house? There's some answers you don't need to know. You seem tense, Mr. Blakey. Just tell me what you did.
What is that? Are you okay, Charles?
Tell me who you are, and I'll kill you! Why are you here? Why are you here?
Now, I don't know about anyone listening to Offscreen right now, but for me, that setup has intrigued me massively on this movie.
Right, it's a doozy. And the weird thing is, this is a really well-made but really unfocused movie. It's a really distracted movie. So that, which I've just described to you, and which the trailer would like you to think of as the central plot, feels kind of knocked aside by not one but two other storylines. And that's an issue because clearly that is the most interesting part of this movie. And it goes places. It's about things. The problem is it can't seem to decide what thing it's about. Is it about colonialism? Is it about being true to your heritage? About pride in your roots? As soon as it picks up one of these threads, it drops it just as quickly for another one. And then the middle of all of this is a sort of horror thriller. But it's sort of a soft-pedaled horror thriller that is somehow actually quite a bit more disturbing than a lot more of the outright horror thrillers that we get. And you've got it all anchored by Corey Hawkins being, you know, solid and reliable, but also just Willem Dafoe having the time of his life. I mean, it's Willem Dafoe in a box. Come on. I mean, Willem Dafoe's brilliant in A Lighthouse. I mean, that movie, The Lighthouse, sucked, but Willem Dafoe's amazing in it. And you know what? No matter how small you make the space you confine Willem Dafoe into, he just somehow exponentially increases in awesomeness. It's just one of the guy's things. And he's badass here. Like, believe me, he'll really keep you guessing.
I'll tell you what, he needs to do a remake of that movie where the guy got buried in a coffin.
Oh, that's come up this past week, funnily enough, because that was the movie Buried, starring Ryan Reynolds. And Ryan Reynolds has been at the Toronto Film Festival at TIFF promoting. He's produced a movie about John Candy. He's produced a documentary about the late great John Candy. So he's been doing lots of interviews and things for that. And he has talked about Buried this past week and how sort of brave a project that was. He did other things at TIFF that maybe didn't cast him in anywhere near as positive a light, let's just say. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, Buried is the movie you're thinking of. There was also a really crap British equivalent that we reviewed last year, I think, or this year, perhaps. It was like a British Muslim sort of themed variation. I can't even remember what that was called. Do you remember what it was called?
No, I can't remember it. I just remember Buried because I remember watching it just thinking, what a great movie, considering...
Great movie, though. Yeah, great. And he's great in it.
Coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great in it.
He is very, very good in that. But this has the similar kind of setup. This is not the only sort of very Stephen Kingian movie this week, because we literally have a Stephen King one to come. But it has that feel of, this feels like almost at times like Jordan Peele directing something based on a Stephen King movie. And you realize, actually, in the moment that idea occurs to you, you realize how great a concept that would be. Like, sooner or later, Jordan Peele has produced something based on because The Monkey was based on a Stephen King novella, but it's not his screenplay, it's not his movie. I would like to see Jordan Peele do a Stephen King movie, and that's something I found in this because it was so steeped in the African-American culture of it all, and the African-American experience and perspective, in a way that this story doesn't work if it's about a white guy. You know what I mean? If it's a white guy struggling to pay the bills and there's a white guy in his basement kind of thing, the story doesn't work. Like, yeah, and it's quite upfront about it. That's not even subtext, it's super text. It's just outright text. Like, you know what I mean? It's very much about that. I do think the film was done a favor, I think, in the recasting, because I don't see Jonathan Majors doing much with this. It's been, the adaptation for the screen has been co-written by Walter Mosley as well, who, you know, obviously is the original novelist. It's been co-written by Mosley and Nadia Latif, the director. So there is a cohesion to this where, although it feels like it's going off the rails at times and can be a bit abstract, I have to believe that this is definitely one of those films where there will be people, like, especially like if you get any member of the cast for this, like in Q&As, will turn around now and say, oh no, that's very intentionally designed. That is actually a commentary on. I personally think it's slightly too abstract for that, and I think it lacks the discipline of an outright Stephen King property. But I think as a sort of a, let's just say Waitrose Essentials Stephen King, I think it's a very good approximation. This is the Waitrose Essentials Stephen King, I would say, or the Waitrose Essential Jordan Peele. And the weird thing is that on this one occasion, those two are the same thing.
Well, The Man in My Basement is out in cinemas from today if you want to go and check it out for yourself. Still to come, we're going to look at Borderline. We've got The Long Walk to look at as well. But next, we will check in on the movies that are on Freeview that you can watch from your sofa this week. Stay where you are. Hello and welcome back to Off Screen then. We're going to look at the new movie The Long Walk, which is out in cinemas from today in a moment. But first, we're going to dive into a few movies that are on Freeview this week that you can watch from your own sofa. So, Van, do you want to start? Because I haven't seen that first one. In fact,
have you not seen Training Day? You absolute cinematic Philistine. Cinestine? I feel like Cinestine should be a term we should coin or something. Right, BBC One, tonight, 10:30, it's on. If you've not got it, you can find this on digital pretty easily as well. This is the movie that got Denzel, like, the Oscar in, I think this was 2001. It was thought that was going to be Russell Crowe's year again. I think he got it for Gladiator, and I think the idea was then Beautiful Mind. And he was kicked out of the Oscar race for putting the head of BAFTA against a bathroom wall, I believe it was. And then suddenly Denzel, a week later, won the Oscar for... Oh yeah, it gets better. Russell Crowe got talked down from that, by the way. Got big dogged by none other than Ross Kemp. That is an actual thing that happened. Yes, 25 years ago was like a different century. Ross Kemp once out-machoed Russell Crowe in the Gladiator era. That's a thing that happened, and the result of it was Denzel winning an Oscar a week later for Training Day. That's the popularly held wisdom, which is basically the original corrupt cop kind of on-the-street drama. This gave us Antoine Fuqua, gave us David Ayer, gave us, Dre trying to act alongside Snoop and Macy Gray. A banger of a cast, Scott Glenn's in there, but of course it's all about Denzel and Ethan Hawke as the corrupt cop who takes a sort of new recruit to his unit, along for a ride along for his training day and exposes him to, the dark underbelly of just what it's like being, a cop in Echo Park, LA. You got to see this, honestly. If you like things like End of Watch, The Shield, things like that, it all comes from this. And Denzel is just terrific. You must know the famous line, like, was it? I'm the police. King Kong ain't got bleep on me. You know that one a bit?
Yes, I do know that. I didn't.
That's this movie.
Ah, okay.
And apparently,
I like the cast from what you've said as well.
Yeah, and apparently that line was ad-libbed by Denzel as well. So
amazing.
Remember, he got, and I would argue deservedly, got the Oscar for this. You can find out why tonight on BBC One at 10:30. So Friday night, 10:30, BBC One.
On Saturday, tomorrow, Film 4 at 11:15, The Shape of Water.
Did you ever see The Shape of Water? Guillermo del Toro's, I think this won Best Picture. This won Best Picture in, I want to say, 2018. I think it's a 2017 film. And it is Guillermo del Toro doing The Creature from the Black Lagoon, but doing it set in the 1950s at the height of Cold War paranoia. As, the creature from the Black Lagoon is literally incarcerated in a US government, underground bunker lab, and enters into a romance with, I think she's deaf, with the deaf-mute cleaner of the facility played by Sally Hawkins. And it's a beautiful film. It would be beautiful even if anyone other than Guillermo del Toro directed it, it would still be a beautiful film just in terms of story and performance. But del Toro himself, with his unique eye, the way that he visualizes creature designs and works with, his art departments, things like that, in a way that I don't think we'd seen since Tim Burton in the mainstream. Works with his art department, has a very unique idea of how his creations must look, but also how his film must look and how it must feel. And I feel like this is the cultural watermark for Del Toro. Critics will never give him this level of chance again, as we saw with Nightmare Alley a couple of years afterwards. He's never going to be, I think, as revered again. His animated Pinocchio won an Oscar and still just didn't seem to get the love of this. But I do think that The Shape of Water is, it is his masterpiece. I think it's the film his entire career was building for. And Doug Jones from Star Trek Discovery plays Saru in Star Trek Discovery, plays Abe Sapien in Hellboy, who may or may not be this creature, by the way. There's a bit in the story where he might be the guy from Hellboy just decades earlier. Doug Jones, a fantastic performance, and I really think he is a textbook example of why we need to start giving mocap actors consideration for Best Actor at the Academy Awards. And I'm thinking of him and Andy Serkis when I say that.
The Shape of Water, Film 4, Saturday at 11:15. And finally on Sunday, Film 4 at 11:05, SWAT.
I mean, do you think I'm going to say anything anywhere near as profound about SWAT as I just did about The Shape of Water? No. Right, SWAT, 2003 movie produced by Neil H. Moritz, who at that point was the guy riding high off the Fast and Furious franchise. And he thought, you know what, I've got this old 60s TV show. I'll bring that to the big screen. I'll cast Sam Jackson as the mentor. The plucky hero can be Colin Farrell, because we're still trying to figure out what to do with him at this stage. He's going to be our next big thing. We just don't know how. And the bad guy will get this kid, Jeremy Renner. I don't know. Something might come of him. And you know what? For good measure, I'll get one of the Fast and Furious alums, Michelle Rodriguez. She can be in there. And to hell with it, LL Cool J. And the result is actually kind of a badass new metal era cop thriller that literally goes into how a SWAT team works. And it's very much, it's like the pilot for a TV show, but with a feature film budget, that just has a sort of main plot about halfway through, which Kylie Minogue's then boyfriend, Olivier Hernandez, I think his name was, the guy who cheated on her with Angelina Jolie. What a scumbag. What a imagine, I'm sorry, no. I don't care if it's Angelina. I don't care if it's Angelina. No, you don't dog Kylie, man. You don't. You don't dog Kylie. That's the rule. I don't care where you're from, what age you are. No, you don't dog Kylie. Anyway, he gets a very good intro here with a Linkin Park needle drop. Figure number 9, actually, funnily enough. Great fun, this movie. Also culminates in LL Cool J delivering the killer line with a shotgun to a man's head. Tell daddy how you want it. What more do you need from a film? What's not to love?
11, film 4 on Sunday night. All right, then, back to a brand new movie then. Let's look at this one, The Long Walk. Now, this is out in cinemas from today, if you do want to go and see it. I know nothing about it, Van, other than it's a horror.
Right, brace yourself, because this is the one that's actually adapted from Stephen King. So this is a Stephen King adaptation. It stars Cooper Hoffman alongside a veritable who's who of sort of up-and-coming young male actors, all around the sort of 20 to 25 mark. The idea here is that we are in the mid-21st century. America has undergone civil war. It's undergone, political party disputes that have literally spilled into everyday way of life. And in order to galvanize the nation, the regime that have taken over, who are led by the Major, played by Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself, the corrupt general running this, they have a thing every year, an annual event called the Long Walk. And the idea is that every state gets one teenage sort of young adult, college-age boy. And so there are 50 contestants. They meet at one particular location, and they must walk until there's only one of them left. They must walk until they give up one by one, until there is only one of them left. They must keep a speed of 3 miles an hour. They must not step off the road. If they stop walking for more than, I think it's 3 seconds, they're given a warning. If they're given 3 warnings, they are killed. The winner. Yeah, your eyebrows just leapt up, didn't they? Yeah, because you didn't see. I led this with Stephen King, didn't I?
Yeah, true. I should have seen that was coming, really.
Yeah, I led with Stephen King. I was just like, that's on you for not assuming.
It's like the Hunger Games.
It's quite Hunger Games, yeah. So, the winner, the last man standing, gets untold riches and, air quote, one wish to be granted. And that's the premise. We follow, one guy, a POV character played by Cooper Hoffman, as he turns up to this event to take part. He is a volunteer. As we're told, a lot of people volunteer for this, like the majority of people who take part volunteer because they see it as their civic duty. But they band together and they must make it through the Long Walk. Have a listen to this clip as the boys start to bond.
We're all in this together, right? There's no harm in keeping each other amused.
You know what? I take it back. They say you shouldn't make friends on a long walk, but I sort of like you three. Even you, Olsen. No, I'm serious. Hey. A short friendship is better than no friendship, right?
That's what I've been saying,
That's
man.
what I'm been saying. Come on, man. Let's be musketeers.
There's 4 of us.
Come on now. We stick together to where all that's left. How about that? All for one.
One for all.
No, and again, I need to hear it louder. All for one.
And one for all.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, not you.
I really, really want to see this, honestly. I mean, the options are endless with what could happen during this movie.
Yeah, you will love this. It's really brutal. It's very much in the vein of something like The Running Man or The Hunger Games or something like that.
Great.
I mean, it's not new in that regard, but the tone with which this is played actually feels closer to something like a Twilight Zone or a Black Mirror. In a way. In fact, Twilight Zone probably more of the two, because Outer Limits and Black Mirror have a technology implication. The strength here is in the writing. It has been co-written by it's been adapted by J.T. Molnar, who wrote and directed Strange Darling, which you might remember was one of my very favourite films of last year. The one that was told out of sequence. Yeah. I think I made you. Did I make you watch that?
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah,
did it start with like the car scene?
Yes, where they were in the car having the smoke at the beginning and then she was being chased. Yes, right, that one. So, writer-director of that wrote this. It is directed by Francis Lawrence, who actually directed the first Hunger Games, funnily enough. So, yeah. And also, I believe I Am Legend. I actually really like this. I think this really works, and it is. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I feel like the longer you can talk about it, the more you can spoil about what little there is to spoil. But as a Stephen King infused dystopian story along the lines of something like The Hunger Games, or along the lines of The Running Man, or along the lines of Lord of the Flies to a degree as well, I think this goes down gangbusters. And the cast on this, Cooper Hoffman, son of Dustin. You've got David Johnson from Alien Romulus, was the android in Alien Romulus. You've got, what's his name? Charlie Plummer. Charlie Plummer was the kid from All the Money in the World and Sweeney Todd. Mark Hamill, as I say, you've got the Major. Ben Wang from Karate Kid Legends is part of the group as well. There is a very sort of, I think it might be the Stephen King quality here, gives it a sort of Stand By Me feeling. Because it's about the bonding of these young men walking. So you can't avoid that Stand By Me feeling. And the fact that it is a story by Stephen King, like Stand By Me was, that was called The Body when it was on the page, I think it is interesting. But I thought this was really fun and really cool and really heartbreaking at times. I just got misty-eyed at one point. I think the performances are incredible in this. I was really taken with it.
Well, The Long Walk is out in cinemas from today, and it's absolutely on my list for watching in the next few weeks. Right, we've got one movie left. We're going to look at Borderline with the synopsis. A bodyguard protects a pop superstar and her athlete boyfriend from a determined stalker in the 90s in LA. With a name like Borderline, are they trying to make her out to be someone like Madonna by any chance?
I don't want to spoil it for you because you're going to have so much fun. But there you go.
We'll see what Van thought of it next.
Hey, it's Paris. I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Walmart Business is in the business of helping your business. Regardless of whether you're building bridges, building spreadsheets, or building lesson plans. Ooh, that looks fun. Walmart Business can help save you time, money, and hassle so you can focus on what you're building instead of what your supply closet is missing. In short, we take care of business so you can do more with yours. We're the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
Hello and welcome back for one last ride on this week's Off Screen then. We are going to dive into Borderline, which is on digital already. Now, I don't really know much about this, apart from what I said at the end of the last segment. So I'll hand over to you, Van, because I don't want to spoil too much or force you to spoil too much, to be honest.
I mean, I'll be really honest. Until you said 90s set, I'd forgotten that element of it, actually, because I watched this a few weeks ago. So this is a really fun, do you remember Ready or Not? The movie that starred Samara Weaving as the bride who got hunted by the in-laws on the wedding night. Like, she's still in the bridal dress kind of thing. This is also Samara Weaving, and it's tonally very similar to Ready or Not. She is a pop star, Sophia, in her, sort of Britney Christina kind of level pop star. In her Bel Air mansion, whatever, has a stalker, played by Ray Nicholson, who breaks into her home one night, kills her security guard, takes her hostage, has an accomplice, and says, tonight's the night we get hitched. And she must fight her way out of this. So, do you know what? I'm just going to play the clip, and I'll let it speak for itself.
So by now, the best day of my life, and therefore yours, will be fast approaching. I love you so much, Sophia.
Tonight is the night I'm proposing. We've been through this before. You don't know Sophia.
You're hilarious, Sophia.
I'm ready to be yours forever.
We're gonna be married?
What, are you having second thoughts?
I have a surprise for you.
This is Penny. She's a big fan of yours.
I killed someone.
Look at that! Friends already.
Well, I mean, from that, it certainly sounds gruesome, and I absolutely love the premise of this. But one thing that just really got my goat in that trailer is they're using landline phones still with the landline phone ring. It would be a mobile or it would be a voice note, right?
Do you know what? I didn't even notice whilst watching it. That's the interesting thing. So this, obviously the stalker in there, as you can hear, that is Ray Nicholson. That is Ray, son of Jack Nicholson,
you can
playing
tell.
the psycho stalker. And oh my God, he got his dad's talent. He's so much fun in this. Also, speaking of fun, the film is written and directed by Jimmy Warden, who I did not realise is actually real life partner of Samara Weaving, the female lead, which makes a lot of sense. This has very clearly been tailored around her. It's a very fun vehicle. This is a digital release. This is not going to cinemas. It's on digital. It's on digital right now. You can go and find it now. And I feel like it's such a good vehicle that had this been given the shot theatrically, I feel like this might have been a very fun and very interesting moment for Samara Weaving, who up until now has kind of jokingly always been thought of as kind of, not Margot Robbie. Because they kind of came up at the same moment and they look kind of similar and they're both Australian. So there was kind of, this was a kind of weird thing, like how we had the two Hemsworths at the same time. But I think, actually, she more than proves herself. She already did in Ready or Not anyway, so that's immaterial. And obviously the sequel to that, Ready or Not, Here I Come, is also like next year, I think. But I think that this is a really great Samara Weaving vehicle. She's tremendous in this, but also a great platform for Ray Nicholson as well, who really is embodying a sort of next generation take on his father. It's not an exact aping of, Jack's iconic shtick, but it's a very good sort of next version of. And I'd be interested to see what you could do with it. Certainly more interesting on the Nepo baby spectrum than, for instance, Scott Eastwood. Or someone like that. I feel like Ray Nicholson has the potential to find his way into the Jack Quaid, Wyatt Russell, good area of the Nepo babies, we shall say. But he definitely won me over very quickly with this. Also, fun to see Eric Dane in a movie. Always fun to see McSteamy or McDream, whichever one he is, in a movie.
Yeah, I really like the premise of this, and I absolutely. Now you've just said, obviously, it's on digital and it's available now. I think it's one to watch. Actually, I'm watching the trailer. Now you're probably going to jump at me for this, but it has got sort of Scream vibes for me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's a funny psycho slasher. Effectively, like it's making no bones. He's very much going down that route. There's a whole sequence in it, because bear in mind this is a pop star in her mansion, so there's like a recording studio in the basement, and there is a whole sequence in which they perform the entirety of Celine Dion's "It's All Coming Back to Me Now." Which means, by the way, that this must be set after about February 1996, because I seem to remember it being used as the theme song in Up Close and Personal with Michelle Pfeiffer and Robert Redford, which tells you exactly how much of a nerd I am. Don't at me. But I genuinely think, on the strength of that one sequence as well, this is Celine's best cinematic needle drop. I don't care about Titanic. I don't care that she won the Oscar for it. No, this is better. This version, because you will sing along with it. I was sat on my couch saying, "Baby, baby, baby," when I was totally doing that. Not going to deny. Tons of fun. I absolutely love this. It's nasty. It's vicious. It's hilarious. Samara Weaving's just a kick-ass final girl. Ray Nicholson is a fun psycho. You've also got a sort of twisted henchwoman kind of character in this, and Eric Dane being the sort of voice of reason in it all. Honestly, watch this weekend, Adam. You will love this. You'll have a ball with it. It's great fun.
Weirdly, when you were explaining that recording studio sequence with "It's All Coming Back to Me Now," I can see it in slow motion as the songs play.
Oh, yeah.
Is that how it does it? Oh, brilliant.
Because they literally do the bit where they're doing baby, baby, doing the whole raising the arm thing that they all do. Because bear in mind, one of them's a pop singer, so they have to do it in that kind of Christina Warble-like way, Really good fun, honestly. I want to go back. I will actually go back and watch this again this weekend, probably, because I really enjoyed it.
Well, Borderline, as we've said, is available on digital now, so search and you will find. So do you want to do a movie of the week? Because actually, I can't call this one.
I'm going to go with The Long Walk for me. I think The Long Walk, easily film of the week.
Excellent. All right. Well, let's quickly look ahead to next week. Anything big coming up that we can look forward to?
We have The Dead of Winter, which I've completely forgotten everything about in my head in the 40 minutes that we've been talking, so yay, brain. We've got Queen of the Ring, which is a new wrestling biopic about Mildred Burke, starring, what's her name, Emily Bett Rickards from Arrow, who plays Felicity Smoke in Arrow, which is a really interesting film, and something I think the wrestling fans will want to discuss at length, naturally. We've also got A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, starring Colin Farrell and actually Margot Robbie. That's out next week. And most prominently, One Battle After Another, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, under the directorial gaze of none other than Paul Thomas Anderson. And I'm hearing all sorts of incredible praise on this movie. People are loving this. People are like, this is the best movie for 25 years, kind of thing. I'm like, okay, let's find out.
Well, we'll hold our breath and wait for you to tell us if that's true or not next week. Looking forward to that. Well, that is, of course, all we have time for this week on Off Screen. We will return next week. Until then, I've been Adam Ball.
I've been Van Connor. Keep it cinematic, and we shall return.
Listen. That's the sound of the fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. The sound of captivating electric performance, dynamic drive, and the quiet confidence of ultra-smooth handling. The elevated interior reminds you this is more than an EV. This is electric performance redefined. The fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron.